You don't know why you don't want to eat. You're trying to figure it out. And you see this woman, and she's saying that you think that fat people don't deserve to live. How do you think that person with ED feels right now watching that video? Have you ever thought of that? Or have you only thought about yourself? Coach Greg, and it's getting out of hand. Now what we're seeing is people who are overweight and or obese, you know, the ones that say love your body. They're telling people that people who have an ED, you know what that is, people who are suffering from very serious eating problems, they're perhaps 60 or 70 pounds, and you know what I'm talking about, don't want to get demonetized, that those people are fat phobic. I mean, these people are suffering often very serious emotional and mental stress, trauma, that's causing them to not want to eat. They're being hospitalized, and people who are overweight and or obese are saying that they're fat phobic. That these are essentially bad people because they're rooted in hate on people who are obese. Imagine how narcissistic you have to be in order to think that the world revolves around you so much that somebody else over there who you don't even know, who's perhaps in a hospital with a mental illness, is somehow hating on you because you're overweight. Just because they think that they themselves are perhaps obese, they don't like themselves, they can't properly see the reflection in the mirror, doesn't mean they're hating on anyone else. They might, in fact, look at you at 300 pounds and say, you're skinny, while they might weigh 80 pounds and think they're fat. Just because they're suffering from a mental illness does not mean they're fat phobic. It doesn't mean they hate on other people. They're hating on themselves.
I know that I'm probably going to get ate up by this in the comment sections, but I really don't care because it's the truth.
And yeah, you probably are going to get hated on this, but no, it's not the truth. If it was the truth, all people could say is, well, you got a point. You're right. I mean, we don't want it to be like that, but you are correct.
A lot of y'all need to admit to yourselves that restrictive eating disorders are fat phobic.
Restrictive eating disorders are not fat phobic. Many people develop this because they were perhaps abused. There are so many reasons why people develop these disorders. Not all of them are because they feel like they're fat. Sometimes it's about control. They want to control something in their life. They lack control, they don't know what to do, and somehow counting every single calorie, perhaps they're only eating 500 calories a day, that somehow gives them a sense of control. The one thing they control in their life is what they put into their bodies. They can't control how people act around them, how people treat them, what people say to them, how they interact with society. But what they can control is what they eat. That's the one thing.
You have to understand that eating disorders with the intention to control weight are rooted in fat phobia.
You're not thinking, oh, I can't eat this because I don't like that person. They're fat. I won't be their friend. I don't like them. They're not worthy of love. That is not at all what's going on. It's a problem within themselves. And so for someone to say that anyone who has an ED is fat phobic is a very narcissistic point of view. To actually think that the world revolves around you, that everyone else is doing, it all has an impact on you. They don't even know you. Why do you think they're fat phobic?
Like, y'all really be coming up on social media or just in real life talking about everybody's body is beautiful while being on your third day not eating.
And so if they're on their third day not eating and saying everyone's body is beautiful, they might in fact think that every body is beautiful other than themselves. They might think everyone is worthy of love except for themselves. The problem is within themselves. They're not putting it onto you. It has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with themselves.
Like, that doesn't make no sense. If everybody's body is beautiful, how come yours isn't?
Because they have a mental illness. There's something wrong in their own heads. They go and see counseling, psychologists, psychiatrists. They go and figure out what's wrong. Perhaps they've been put into a hospital to get better, to heal, to somehow figure out what is at the root of the problem. It sometimes takes years. Sometimes they never get over it.
How come fat people isn't? Because it's being fat. You're scared of being fat.
Yeah, potentially they might be scared of being fat, but clearly when they're 70 pounds, they're not fat. But yet they look in the mirror and they might feel fat. They might feel unworthy, not worthy of being loved. They might not know what they're actually looking at.
And if you are not treated like a fat person in society, calling yourself fat in a derogatory way is harmful to actual fat people.
Their brain that just cannot comprehend the reflection they see in the mirror. It's distorted. They have body dysmorphia. It's an actual problem.
You think fat people are disgusting. You think fat people are ugly and you don't want to be fat.
No, they don't think fat people are disgusting. They think they themselves are disgusting. They don't care about you, they care about themselves. And so just because you see somebody walking around that perhaps has an ED, you see someone very, very thin, and you know that they're unhealthy, that person doesn't hate you. They may hate themselves, they may not like what they're doing to their own bodies, but they don't care about you. And so stop thinking that the world revolves around yourself.
You restrict yourself from eating because you think fat people are disgusting.
No, they're not restricting themselves from eating because they think fat people are disgusting. They might, in fact, be already at a healthy weight their entire life. Until the age of 15, 16, 17. Perhaps they were 110 pounds. Perhaps they had the ideal body fat percentage. They were an athlete. They were involved in sports. They felt amazing. They never thought other people who were overweight were bad people. They never had any negative thoughts like that whatsoever. But perhaps they were involved in sport. There was pressure on them to be thin. Suddenly, they keep dieting. The more they lose weight, the better they perform. But eventually they lose too much weight. Eventually it goes too far. And they can't figure out how to eat again. They can't figure out how to become normal.
Because you think fat people are disgusting and don't deserve to live.
Imagine is going so far as to say that somebody who's fat, not only are they disgusting, they don't deserve to live. She's literally saying that. She's saying that people who have an ED, they think that fat people are disgusting and don't deserve to live. How could you go that far? Just because you're on a diet, just because you want to lose weight, just because you're doing cardio, doesn't mean you think that somebody who doesn't do that doesn't deserve to live.
Your eating disorder is fatphobic. No one said it was your fault, but it's still fatphobic.
Listen, your opinions are that of yourself. Other people are not going to see and view the world as you do. And so just because you think that people who have an ED think that they hate fat people, it doesn't mean it's actually true.
Like, y'all will legitimately feel like you want to end your life because you don't want to be fat.
No, they're not trying to end their life because they don't want to be fat. They're trying to gain control. They don't know what's happening to them. They have a mental disorder. That is why they're trying to get help. That's why they go to the hospital. That's why they see psychologists, psychiatrists. That is why people ask for help, why they reach out. For her to say this, imagine you're somebody with an ED. Imagine you're watching this right now. You're sitting in the hospital, you weigh 70 pounds, you're struggling to survive, you don't know why you don't want to eat, you're trying to figure it out. And you see this woman, and she's saying that you think that fat people don't deserve to live. How do you think that person with ED feels right now watching that video? Have you ever thought of that? Or have you only thought about yourself? This is not how it works. Hey, what if we didn't shame people with a disorder? You think they want to be like that? At my skinniest, when I wasn't eating, I never became happy. Also, you are failing to realize that people with EDs are self-critical, not critical in general. They judge themselves, not you. That is a great point. Do you not understand that people with EDs, they're self-critical of themselves? They have very high standards. They have high expectations of themselves. They're controlling their own selves. When you have zero qualifications to be talking about EDs, yet continue to keep speaking. No, my eating disorder that I'm recovering from was rooted from being scared of throwing up or getting sick from food. And of course, as you know, I have harder than last time supplements, pre-workout, pump, pre-workout stim, various kinds, various levels of stimulation. Also, of course, creatine, protein bars, protein powder, so many things to help you sleep, things to help you get motivated, burn fat, GO2 max, everything. Interested in any of these, click the link in the description. If you got no money, that's okay. Giving away a free diet and training program. We have nearly 300,000 newsletter subscribers. So many people got in a free diet and training program. It's close to 50 pages. Head over to my website. You get it for free. Subscribe, click the bell button, like this video if you like it, add a comment, please. It helps with the algorithm. Don't forget to watch one of those 2 bloops. And of course, the cookbooks, the Circle diet book. And no, I'm not fat phobic just because I wrote a diet book. The training books have several of these as well. Also coaching plans by me and my team, phone consults, you name it. Head over to my website. Don't forget about the clothing line. And until next time, I am out.